legal action and demands damages if French continues. So if Dogpack continues. So I think this is very funny because I actually think that Mr. Beast is going to win the lawsuit. Because this is what's going to happen. There's going to be 60 counts of statements made about Mr. Beast. 3 of these counts will be proven false. Mr. Beast will then win a judgment of $70 million against Dogpack. That Dogpack can never win, pay back. Then the article is going to be written, Mr. Beast wins the lawsuit. Because 3 out of the 60 accusations were proven false. Everybody is going to read the article and say, wow, I knew he was innocent. Jimmy would never do anything wrong. I can't believe Dogpack would ever do this. Dogpack's tweet under it, facts ain't defamation. When reached out for comment, French Daily Mail, Mr. Beast has knowingly kept rapists and pedophiles on payroll, although I think some of them were convicted. Well, I think this will be something. Mr. Beast has a chance to do something that will be really good for me. We all know what it's going to be. Please, Jimmy, please stream this trial. If you stream the trial, I'll react to all your videos. I know I'm like small guy, right? I'll even be in one of your videos if you want. Just don't kill me. That's all. Just don't kill me.
What is up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be doing something crazy. No-hitting the Elden Ring DLC and all of its main bosses while stranded. This means we're starting our character immediately in the DLC at level 1. We also won't be able to get back to the lands between, so we'll only have access to the Shadow Realm and Round Table Hold so we can upgrade weapons and transpose boss souls. The build we're going with is Pure Faith with the newly added Colossal Sword, the Fire Knight's Greatsword. With Flame Spear on it, it can do some insane damage. The high damage in combination with its great poise damage allows us to absolutely blast through some of the bosses. There are lots of new innovative strategies thanks to the newly added DLC items. The Talisman of all Crucibles is basically designed for no-hit, with backstep iframes in combination with extra iframes on rolls, which opens up bigger punish openings if used properly. The Spinning Gravity Thrust Ash of War from Gaius' weapon enables some crazy skips. And most importantly for this run, the Blindfold of Happiness skill, which is a strong stealth effect that makes some of the brutal running sections of this DLC actually consistent. This no-hit run took quite a bit of work to route and complete, but it's easily one of my favorite runs that I've done so far. So for now, you can sit back, and I hope you guys enjoy this run. All right, let's do it, dude. That was a good run, dude. That last run was pretty solid. It's not like I was using a bad strat on Jory there. I just missed the backstab. If I do lower damage runs than this, which I think I will, then I'm gonna have to probably go back to the backstab strat, but at least for this run, and if I do stranded all bosses, I can do this strat or a variation of it. Yeah, hopefully I can keep getting faster at this setup too. Because last time, I mean, that one hit run we did, the run was, I think it was about 250, or it was actually less than 2 hours, 50 minutes real time, which is faster than I had done it before. And that was even with a death on Rolana too. Nearly missed that. I probably won't do many runs today, though. I'm already kind of tired, so hopefully this one just goes well. Simply just get the run here, dude. Tomorrow should be just all attempts, I think, until I get hit by the next thing and then figure out a better strat for it, and then we just continue. Yeah, simply don't get hit and win, dude. We kill this Fire Knight for his Greatsword, but it has a really low drop rate, which is kind of annoying, so we're going to simply use Streamer Luck and get it on the first try. A similar RDS3 and Elden Ring PvP. Drop rate, which is kind of annoying, so we're going to simply use Streamer Luck and get it on the first try. Low drop rate, which is kind of annoying, so we're going to simply use Streamer Luck and get it on the first try. A similar RDS3 and Elden Ring PvP. I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but there's more to Elden Ring PvP for sure. Wait, right, with the jumping. And like, I think sometimes people underestimate how much game knowledge matters in Souls PvP. That is one of the biggest things to just being decent at PvP. You need to have the knowledge to know how to deal with certain things, and like trading, like who gets priority depending on the weapon type, and like there's so many things you need to know. It's not just about being good mechanically, but that is a big part of it. Here we go here.
So here's Quinn's video. This has been a very big video.
Yo, what's going on, boys? I just wanted to make a video talking about World of Warcraft and effectively why I've quit so early and why I think, you know, I quit Dragonflight so early last time as well, and why I think WoW in general is just bad. No, don't get it twisted. I ain't some WoW hater, okay? I ain't some WoW hater. I am a WoW Andy through and through. The most played game of any game ever across my entire lifespan is World of Warcraft, and I've played a lot of games, let me tell you, bro. I've played a absolute shit ton of games. I love WoW, and, you know, I really, really want World of Warcraft to be good, because when WoW was good, life
Says, I think that you just grew out of MMORPGs. I feel like you could make that argument, but you can't when the guy plays PoE. That's like saying that, like, you grew out, like, guys, I grew out of eating unhealthy. I used to eat at McDonald's, but now I just go to Golden Corral every day.
Bro, you know, I don't want to do anything else except play it. And that's currently not the case right now. And I'm going to point out why. Also, I want to preface, I'm not some classic Andy. A lot of you guys probably think like, oh, this guy is, well, he likes WoW, but he just likes old WoW. No. Okay, well, technically, yes, a little bit, but no.
Quinn did get a lot of shit back in the day during Classic WoW release because he was critical and he wanted changes for Classic WoW. I remember this. It's not really an MMO. Yeah, but I don't think that you outgrow, like, I don't think you're outgrowing a genre. I think you're outgrowing a type of gameplay. And like, a cyclical type of gameplay. I think that's really it.
I hate the, you know, the classification of everything nowadays, you know, where they're just re-releasing the same shit with a new coat of paint over and over again, doing it in games, doing it in movies. Whenever they announce Classic, believe it or not, I was pretty upset. I was like, well, this is shit. Why are they doing that? Why don't they just make the retail better? And that's fundamentally how I feel.
Yeah.
Why don't they just make, like, the new one, like,
you got a lot of shit
stuff
for this
that people
opinion
like about Classic, except make it better, right?
From me,
maybe
but
innovate.
I disagreed with this.
Come up with some new stuff that really elevates the game to a level that we never thought possible. So, why does WoW?
Well, it did. I don't know if it elevated the game to a level we never thought possible, but Shadowlands put it at a level we never thought possible. I'll tell you that.
Really suck. What I did is I just made a bunch of bullet points as to why I think it sucks, and you know, the ones that came up first, I guess the ones that are probably closer to the surface of as to why I think WoW sucks. Straight up, early access. The fuck is that? Why? It totally kills the hype of an expansion. Why the fuck does that exist?
I wonder why it exists. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. It's a mystery. There's 40 reasons why it exists.
It's not even early access. It's just some shit they're saying to basically let you pay to win and get into the game earlier, so they can make more money. And then all the stuff is locked anyway, and you can't do fuck all. So they're basically scamming you. And then on top of that, you're playing, and it's like not hype because half the people aren't playing. I don't know. It's just a terrible thing. And I honestly, from a marketing standpoint, I think it, you know, you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? Like, yeah, you're gonna make some money.
Somebody says PoE releases an early access game for $60, but it's different. I understand that there's always like this, like, fixation that really, really low IQ people on the internet have, that because they're so stupid, they don't understand anything, and so they hear one thing, and one thing contradicts with their misunderstanding of another thing, and then it makes them feel smart. Please, you're not. Just go lay down for a while. Why don't you teach them then? You cannot teach a pigeon to play chess.
Money from these, you know, pay piggies who are going to get the early access to me. But what you're trading off is like the hype of, oh shit, boys, on this day, everyone's logging in, and we're all playing World of Warcraft with this expansion. And they're basically, the early access. That immediately is a vibe killer. Followed by the 3 weeks of time gaining. 3 weeks of time gaining. Come on, man. Like one week max. Changed my mind, bro. In the current state of what there is to do, 1 week max. Maybe I'm a nerd, I don't know, but I just think that whole thing where you think about like I don't know, I don't want to be talking about PoE too much, but you think about a PoE league, right? The league comes out.
Everybody's big digging. Everybody's there. It's an event, bro. Everything's happening.
Things to play the game, and you don't even want to sleep because there's so much new shit in the game. You gotta try out. You gotta pop off. You gotta farm.
Yeah, this league, by the way, like the Calgar, was, I think, probably their biggest W league they've had since like Ritual or Metamorphosis League. Probably since Ritual League. It's actually, and I think it's bigger than that, but Ritual was the next league that was that crazy. Since Breach. Yeah.
New shit, all the new... Well, guess what? That feeling of, like, wanting to degenerately log in and play the fuck out of the game, just doesn't exist. Which, okay, again, is a hype killer. Now, what is hype? That's some shit that comes and then it goes. Yeah. That's not what makes the game feel good. Long term, right? That's just hype. I mean, that's just two things that I think is pretty bad. Now let's move on to the more, maybe important things.
Okay.
Probably, I'd say one of the largest issues is the open world. Okay, and what I mean by that is like not instance, out in the world. It feels dead, bro, and it feels bad. Why is that? And I asked myself that question as I was leveling. I constantly was thinking about it.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way to me. I can see why he says that. Yeah, I get that.
And I was like, man, I don't know what it is. And you know what? I feel like it's the fact that nothing at all poses even a remote challenge, or is even a slightly dangerous, or even a little bit difficult. It's just every single zone, every single area.
Everything is like a target dummy bot that if you have a pulse, you're gonna kill it easily and you're never gonna stress out. Like, the game is so easy and so effortless that it's like not even fun to play. Yeah, like, and it's also like, if you compare this to like classic WoW, I know he's not a classic Andy, but I am. And classic WoW leveling was genuinely fun and engaging and meaningful because getting an upgrade at level 21 meant that it was easier to get to level 25. But nowadays, you just don't have a dynamic like that. Like, I don't even care about upgrading my gear. Like, I'll do it because it's like, I want to do it. But who cares? It's just... It's so easy. Who cares about level 21? Well, people who are level 21. It takes you longer to get to level 21 than it would take you to get to max level in retail WoW. So at that point, who cares about max level in retail WoW? And that's a great question, isn't it?
Every single monster you run in, you can aggro as many monsters as you want. You can do whatever you can literally be holding down your S key, clicking your keybinds, and you just AoE them down. Run in, pull a bunch of mobs, AoE them down. It's just how it felt. Like, I don't know, man. Bro, I had like, there was quests where like, it's building up to this big campaign boss guy.
Ooh.
You press 2 buttons on him and he's dead. Ooh. You don't even get to pop off. I love popping off.
Yeah.
Why are the monsters that are supposed to be big bad guys dying before I can even get a single rotation out? I don't know.
Because the game is meant for hardcore sweaties and brain dead casuals at the same time. WoW is designed to appeal to the bottom 10% and the top 10% of players, where the 80% in the middle is completely neglected and given an experience that's so watered down that it means nothing. That's the reason why. So you have like a lot of this content in the game that's so easy that it's like just effortless, meaningless. Nobody cares about achieving it. It's just kind of a participation reward content. Then you go into like Mythic Plus and there's a trash mob that has 3 separate mechanics and there's a pool of 4 trash mobs. And you have to do this on a timer. Like the level scaling and like the difficulty scaling for this is insane. It used to be a big deal to hit max level. Yeah.
It's pretty dumb. So I feel like that's a pretty large feeling as to why you know, the overworld feels a little bit shit. Another huge reason, and I hark on about this all the time, and I feel like it's because it's a really big one, and honestly people disagree with it a lot, but I straight up think that flying in World of Warcraft, yeah, it's cool, but it's actually dog shit and bad for the game. In my opinion, there should be like one zone. You should have one zone. It can be the up area, you know, whatever. They have one zone, and that's the dragon flying area. It's a zone design with a bunch of verticality, bunch of those races and shit, so you can do the Hogwarts broom quests, and you can fly around, do all that stuff, and you can do all your flying and have all the flying mounts and do all that good stuff. But then guess what? When you get into the other zones, no flying. It's just ground mounts. And the reason why, like why? But why does he not like flying mounts? Just don't fly, forehead. No, that's not how it works.
People always choose the fastest way of doing something, even if it's not fun. That's just the way that any game is. And if you design a game where the efficient way of playing the game isn't fun, you're going to have people playing the game and not having fun. So you can never, as a game developer, blame the player that you have rewarded them for doing something that you don't want them to do. It's stupid. It's like, we're going to give you a cookie if you do this, but if you do it, you're not going to have fun. What a terrible design. Ground mounts are fun? What? No, I think that he makes sense because, like, so there's like an imminent danger, and there's a sense of perspective on the ground. Like, for example, when you see, like, the big tower, like, you can look up and see this big tower. But if you're looking at it from the air, it doesn't have the same type of scale and, like, grandeur that it would. I think that he's also right that flying should be part of the game, but the way that it's part of the game takes more away from the game than it gives to it.
The second you have flying mounts in the game, it becomes a teleport to XY coordinate simulator.
Up, down,
and what
over.
I mean by that is like, well, what do? You just get a quest, you get a thing, you go there. You press, you hop on your mount, fly up, hornet, fly up.
There it is.
Get to the thing, go.
He knows it, I know it, everybody knows it.
You don't have to engage with terrain, you don't have to think about where you're going, you just look at your map, go to the point, do the thing, go to the point, do the thing. I mean, imagine if you're playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, bro, and Roach was a dragon, and instead of having to traverse the terrain, go through the different areas that are carefully crafted in ways where, you know, you're going to have little puzzles and little things to get through and, like, you know, jump, puzzle, all the stuff, except you could just fly right there.
Yeah.
It would be fucking dog shit. And you know what? It's fucking dog shit and WoW. Like, yeah, cool, it's fun. I like dragon flying, it's cool. Have a zone for it, have all the little races and shit. Those are actually genuinely some of the best gameplay in the game currently, which is a little bit sad. You know, also, hey, they can do something. Blizzard did make a new system that was kind of cool.
They did. True.
So you gotta give them that. Yeah. Now, another thing that is bad, I think, for flying is the fact that, you know, I don't want to talk about it too much, but like World PvP, all the natural hotspots that you would necessarily like.
The problem with World PvP is that World PvP shouldn't even exist. It's always garbage. It's never fair. It's not fun for one person 90% of the time. Like, it's always trash gameplay. Like, World PvP is something that on the internet a lot of people really think is great because it's comprised of a lot of hardcore players. But the reality is that it's not a coincidence that every single classic WoW server has trended towards being one-sided. It's because people act like they like this environment, but whenever they're actually given the opportunity to choose to be part of it or not, they choose not to. That's really the reason. And it's another instance where it's like, you can listen to what people say, or you can listen to what they do. And I know that there's a lot of people that like World PvP, and I think that World PvP was better in Classic WoW than it is even now in Dragonflight or in BFA or Shadowlands. And the reason why is that it was like, it was cleaner, I think. It was cleaner. 5-stack rogue players crying. Yeah, and also, like, I mean, how many of you guys have had a situation where you're questing peacefully alongside a horde member or an alliance member, and you're the opposite faction, and there's an agreed upon truce between the two of you? You're over there, he's over here, vice versa. Then two of his friends show up. Suddenly, there's a burst of confidence, and he's ready to go to war. And it's a 3v1, and you're dead. It's not fun. That's not fun for somebody. Somebody has that happen once or twice, it's okay. But when that becomes the gameplay, people quit the game. Nobody wants to spend fucking hours having their time wasted because they're in an asymmetrical situation that they can't control. War mode off, simple. I get it, I understand. But World PvP was never meant to be fair, and it should never be a focus in the game. The only MMO PvP that should matter should be large-scale tower siege spectacle combat like Lord of the Rings. World PvP should not be a focus in MMOs. It's always garbage. It's always asymmetrical. It's never fair, and it creates more negative outcomes than positive outcomes. There should be instances where you can do it, but it should never be a focus of the game, and it should never be something that is designed around or cultivated. Because it's just that I think that 90% of World PvP interactions are completely asymmetrical, one-sided, and not fun.
You know, there's a base that everyone comes out of, and there's a bridge, there's a chokehold, there's gonna be a lot of players commuting through there. Naturally, you can go there, gank them, kill them, and that creates, like, you know, situations where people group up and have little battles and stuff. That's, like, a part of what makes the overworld feel alive and feel cool. Like, yo, dude, somebody help at this bridge, I'm getting ganked, all that shit. I don't know if you guys remember Hellfire Peninsula. I don't want to go too far back and be like, sound like some classic Andy.
Like, this didn't happen, though. It didn't happen. It was just some guy that would kill, like, low-level players at a quest giver and, like, Stranglethorn Vale. And, like, somebody would try to play the game, and they couldn't play the game. It did a bit. Yeah, it did a bit. And you know what happened after it did for a bit? Then the server died. Remember on Faralina? Remember what happened to Faralina? Faralina went 100% horde. It's not a lasting model because people don't want to play the game that way. And this is the problem. Everybody says they want to play the game this way. They say they want to do this, but they don't do it. It's reflected in behavior. I don't care how many L's I get in chat for this. I'm looking at the numbers.
Boomer. But, like, man, that was some good times. And, you know what? This is a very bad example because people could fly there. Although most people were questing. So they didn't actually have flying mounts. So, hey, it was ethical. I think also another reason why Overworld feels shit and feels dead is the fact that people can instantly queue into random dungeons, and they don't really need to go anywhere. They can sit in their fucking town, and they just spam random dungeons. So then, naturally, they don't go out in the world. I don't think that's cool. I remember vividly in the Wrath of the Lich King, you know, going to the dungeon instances and literally camping entire 5-man groups by myself and a warrior. Now, obviously, sometimes you die, but sometimes you kill them, and it would be fucking amazing. and I had fraps running, so I was recording that shit, homie. I was recording that for my PvP, my Warcraft movies video. Now I'm sounding like a boomer, but yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was cool. And again, it created a sense of place and a sense of, you know, the dungeon exists. It's at this place. It's a physical location you can see and go.
He's right about the dungeon things. The game does feel like a lobby simulator. It's felt like a lobby simulator for a really long time.
And there's players there going in and out, and it feels like the world is in a live place, and there's things happening, and that creates that MMO vibe, that MMO feeling. Which is
Here's
just
the best example of this, in my opinion. Leveling in Westfall and seeing an 80-man raid ride by you on their full epic mounts with tier 2, going over to ZG to get the buff. That's fucking cool. That's like, oh shit. That's the kind of experience you want to have. As I said, classic WoW, like it's kind of what I was saying before about how like Tolkien's like even like the etymology of the words that he used, it's like an onion where truly good and truly inspired design is an onion with layers that become increasingly more meaningful and incredible and insightful and just better. And bad games are like an onion that it just gets worse and worse and worse. And like classic WoW is like a game where even the mistakes, even the unintended consequences made the game even better. Yeah, they're rotten to the core. Yeah.
not existing in the current version of WoW. I don't want to go into it too much, because it's probably not a big deal, but I think War Mode in general is just bad. I think I prefer the game better where you just pick a PvP server, and then cool. Sweet as. You pick the PvP server, now everyone PvP's there. And then naturally, it means there's more people participating in PvP in general. It does suck being a streamer, but I think in general, it's good.
I don't agree with this personally. People pick a PvP server in 2009. Server population changed over 2 years. Now the server is like 90-10. Their experience is dramatically different. They can't play the game, and now they have to either pay money to get somewhere else. Again, it's a terrible, it's a terrible design.
Good to have more people engaging in PvP and being out in the world, because again, it makes the world a little more alive.
You don't pick PvP? Well, there's a lot of people that pick PvP. Like, almost nobody would pick a PvP server if they knew that they would lose every encounter. Like, I think that if you told somebody you're gonna pick this PvP server, and you have like a 60% faction advantage, versus you told people you're gonna pick this PvP server and you have a 60% faction disadvantage, you're gonna see more people pick the server with the advantage. And this is kind of how these things escalate, right? It's common sense. Like I know that people have like this like weird, you know, like Spartan 300 mentality, but this just simply is not reflected in gameplay. It's just not reflected in player behavior, and it's not reflected in gameplay. It's not reflected in common sense. Nobody's gonna want to play a game where they try to join a dungeon and there's 7 people that are gonna kill them on the way to the dungeon. That's not fun. There's not a way, you don't outplay that. You just lose. There's a romantic way to see it. Yeah, the romanticism of it like wears off in 20 minutes and then you quit playing. Nobody has a problem making a glorious last stand. You know, like, you know, using all their cooldowns to keep the 40-man raid away for 10 more seconds. That's really cool. But when that's all you do the whole time, then you're not making a heroic stand. You're a target dummy. It's not fun. Like, and also, again, this is reflected by player behavior. This isn't my opinion. This is player behavior.
Now, Another thing that I think is currently really bad in current WoW, and that is class design. It feels far too homogenized. And what I mean by that is, like, all the cool niches, they're far and few between. You know,
He's right about this too. Classic WoW had great class identity because classes were bad at things. Mages were bad at being able to do like crazy single target damage until they had like really good gear. Mages were bad at being able to do like consistent damage because they'd run out of mana. But mages were really good at AoE, and they were really good at kiting. Not a good thing? It is a good thing. Because when you give everybody... So basically, classic WoW, again, one of the most brilliant and greatest games ever made in all time. So, and that's just the way it is, right? Everybody knows that. So, the reason why it was so good is because each class was operating at 70%, let's say. But if you were a warrior and you've teamed up with a paladin, now you're operating not at 140%, but at 200%. And classes had like this force multiplier with each other, where playing with somebody else didn't just simply make you stronger, it made you multiplicatively stronger because of the synergy between the classes. And it felt so much better to play. They still do, but there's no necessary reason for it to happen. That's the difference. Every class can heal now. Every class has a bunch of CDs. That's where the issues are.
some of the most peak WoW moments and interesting and cool and fun things were like where your class uniquely can deal with a situation.
Exactly.
And where you can do a thing that no one else can do. Like, I don't know, there's some mechanic in a raid and it's everyone else has to move back. I'm a paladin, but guess what, bro? I have an invulnerability bubble I can press. Boom. I can press that shit.
Welcome
or like,
to Tomb of Sargeras. Or like, are you kidding me? No, this is, I touched it years ago. Yeah, no, this is true. It's like everybody has like their moment of glory. Like hunters, like can kite General Drakaseth. That was so cool. Or mages can do that. Arcane Mage in Hellfire Citadel and Legion. That was nuts. That was actually WoD. You had rogues. What could rogues do that was really, really cool? Well, they could pickpocket. I mean, that was cool. Good sap. What was the thing the rogues could do? Rogue tank. Yeah, rogue tank, evasion tanking. Like, have you guys ever had a time where the tanks died, the rogue popped evasion, they stayed alive, and you killed the boss? Man. That's crazy, right? Warlocks were able to, like, mind control demons, or, like, fucking enslave demons, and, like, have them fight with them inside of boss fights in, like, Hellfire, in, like, a battle for Mount Hyjal. Like, tanking twin emperors. Yeah, like, Muru. Yeah, Muru, like, warlock tanking with, and, like, Illidan with, like, searing pain. Like, paladins that could just, like, you know, you had, like, warrior tanks were always the best tanks. Burning Crusade comes out, paladin tanks just absolutely fucking clear everybody else in Hyjal. It's not even close. It was insane. So yeah, it's like everybody had these, like, really cool things that they could do for their class. And, like, now I feel like it's not that way anymore.
You're a rogue and you can cloak shadows, and there's this debuff that everyone has, and they can actually run off the side and drop it over. There's all these sorts of little things you can do. Little things where you're a master of your class.
Yep.
You have unique tools and kits, you know, that you can do that other people can't do. Like, I don't know, maybe you're a mage and you're supposed to be really good at AoE.
Spell
and
steal.
Like, this other guy's a feral druid, and he's like really good at doing 2-target damage, where you can bleed one guy and bleed another guy, and he does insane
Arms warrior.
damage
Cleave.
in this particular
Sweeping
situation.
strikes.
And I feel like what happens now is it seems like, from what
Every
I can tell,
class is designed to do basically the same thing.
the current game, every single class has like a million different self-heals.
Yep.
A million different
Yep.
procs. Just this procs out the wazoo. You just attack, you press one button, procs another button, which procs some other thing, which procs a passive, which procs a heal, which procs a shield. And naturally, this is my experience on I did with a red paladin, and I was just playing my enhancement shaman. Even if I wanted to like not AoE, my character just spams AoE by default. Same with the shaman. Same seems to be like every class. And what's happened is like everyone has a million procs, a million different. Everyone just does broken AoE, broken heal, broken mobility. Everyone just has insane mobility. And then when everyone has something, like when everybody has the ability to self-heal, do AoE damage, do simple target damage, do cleave, do all this shit, has the insane mobility, nothing really feels special.
Exactly.
Like, change my mind.
Yeah, you don't have those big dick moments where your class feels like you're special. Realistically,
I've never done this before.
I should not be able to do this. Okay? With no damage, nothing. Look at my healing. I'm a tank. I'm a warrior. And yeah, I have good gear, but my gear isn't good enough to be able to do this. You see that? It shouldn't be like that. That's too, it's too much, bro. It's too fucking much.
Mages should just, they should be squishy. That can nuke.
And it's also, you know what? It not only is it too much, it's unearned. I think that's really what the problem is. Because like I could do that back in the day, but I earned that because I had the best fucking gear. Now it's like, oh yeah, of course, it's just the way the game plays.
You from afar, they cast an ability at you, right? And they should be able to control you and slow you and CC you. But like, if you get on them, right, then you should mess them up. That it shouldn't be, nah. This mage can self-heal while teleporting, while instant casting, while doing, you know, I'm not saying mages, to be fair, mages seem pretty balanced right now, but the point that I'm making is that it feels like, I mean, bro, I had a fucking hunter. I was 1v1ing a hunter. The hunter was literally healing his HP bar to full multiple times over, it felt like. Taking no damage, spamming. It's like, what is a hunter, bro? Why is he doing this? And then self-tasting a red paladin. I mean, I don't know. That's supposed to be my niche. So red paladin is supposed to be able to do some off heals, and I can't even do it. I mean, whatever, bro. The fact that I'm making it, the point that I'm making is, class design feels bad because they're giving everyone everything. And that whole dominating a niche thing just doesn't, you know, it's not there. And I think, why is that? It's something to do. Everyone in chat says it's to do with Mythic Plus. They want to.
It has to do with small-scale competitive PvP and gameplay. MMOs should be designed around playing in groups of 10 or more, not designed in playing around in groups of like 3 or 5 or 2. Like this whole classic WoW was designed around 40-man rating and 20-man rating. Arenas are garbage. If I could delete arenas from WoW, I would do it. I think they're garbage and they contrive game design. It should have always been rated battlegrounds.
They give everyone OP in Mythic Plus, but like, bro, I don't know. Maybe some classes shouldn't be as good as other classes in Mythic Plus. Just a wild thought, bro. In my opinion. This leads into
well,
PvP.
the problem isn't that classes can't, like, because I think classes, if you have a competitive system, you have to make sure everybody can be competitive, because people that are playing at a disadvantage, like, that sounds good, but whenever you're at the disadvantage and you don't have time to, like, respec, you're just going to quit the game, right? Like, that's not fun. The problem is the fact that that's the way the game is designed in the first place. So, like, Enhancement Shamans and Burning Crusade were not really that great a damage. But they brought out like these really, really good buffs, and people brought them anyway. And I think Burning Crusade Raid Interdependency was a much better version of classic WoW Raid Interdependency. Totem bots, yeah. Well, they brought in tools. Like, everybody brought in their own tools. Whereas, like, now, everybody's tool is damage, and people bring in the same buffs.
Pacing. Because everyone has like a million passive procs and hots and dots and all sorts of stuff, that what happens when you press like a button on a guy, well then they have to like slow down the PvP massively. They're going to nerf everyone's damage, because if they just like, you press this button, it did 5 things and it just one-shot someone, well that's not going to be good for the game, right? Because it's way too complicated. You know, you attack and it does a 500 different abilities that...
Well, that's the problem, is that one ability should happen at a time. The problem isn't that people get one-shot, it's that people get one-shot through a constellation of events.
For each other, it's just not, doesn't work. So then what happens is...
Like, remember one-shots back in MoP, where it was like Chaos Bolt, and it was like, I'ma charging my laser, and you can see it, it's like, no! And it's like, he's doing it, oh! And it's happening, and you can see it, oh! And it hits you, and you're dead. That was cool.
All your buttons, when you press them, they don't feel meaningful, right? You press your buttons, you're pressing your burst button, you're pressing your damage button. They're just taking slow damage like this. It's a slow... You can't even feel like, I'll like have all my shit up. All my cooldowns are up. They're in a stun.
You don't feel like whenever you hit a button in WoW, you don't feel like your health goes down after you hit that button. Yeah.
And they got no cooldown up, and I'm like, all right, here we go, boys. This is going to be massive. Big crit. This guy's about to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Boom, I attack. Nothing happens. And the pacing is just heinous. Like, heinous. And I think this is because of the fact that they've just, you know, got the classes to the point where this is what we're dealing with. Like, it's
17 defensives, 3 personal heals, 1 immunity, 2 damage reductions. You've got a gap closer, a evade ability. You know, like, it's too much.
So bloated.
And absorb,
like, I think less is more. I think that we should be doing far less things. That should be far less procs happening, far less abilities proccing other, and they should be doing a lot more. Like, I should press my Templar's Verdict, right? And
they should go like
if my
that.
wings are up, I should see their HP
go
down by like 20%, 30%. I should see a rogue doesn't eviscerate on me full combo points. I don't have a defensive cooldown up.
That's just like classic WoW, and that's the way it used to be, man. It was so good because you could fucking feel it. Like whenever you'd see somebody dispel a unstable. I remember I would do BGs, and like, you know, back in the day, like we were the big dicks, right? And so we had somebody in our guild. I think it might have been Rob. That like we ninja the guild bank together, and he had tier 6. He had tier 6 gear, and we were doing AV, and he would put UA on somebody, and like some little Karazhan priest would dispel